Hey friends, it's night 6, Spring Goddess Portal. I mean, if you just keep going, then it deepens. It gets better and better. We're deep into it. We've crossed a little threshold tonight. The first 5 goddesses, really, they represent the principles of existence, right? And these laws, principles that we're governed by, and their iconography, what the iconography decodes for us, represents that. So we cross the threshold. It's night 6. We're meeting Ma Chinnamasta, probably the most misunderstood of all of the Dasha Mahavidyas. Her iconography is confounding, confusing, or if you're somebody like me, you are just wildly attracted to whatever is going on there. So she's part of these back 5 of the 10 goddesses that are representing the main methods of transformation and the steps to achieving self-realization. So we're coming into the practice end, but at the same time, they also represent principles, laws. So we get a little bit of both. Ma Chinnamasta. Let me show you her iconography. And this is a really tame version of her iconography. I was playing with some of the video settings, and so I think she's coming in a little googly. There she is. This looks like the good distance. So confounding, right? What's happening here? There's more than one person depicted. And where is her head? And what is happening? Yes, she is the self-decapitating goddess. That's what Chinnamasta means. She means she's cut off her own head. And she is feeding Yogini and Dakini. She is standing on passion and desire. And passion and desire are actively copulating underneath her. Very importantly in the interpretation of things, one is a man and one is a woman. They are a heterosexual couple, and the woman is on top. That's a very important aspect of this iconography. And they are on the lotus of Eros. Chinnamasta has cut off her own head, and there are 3 streams of blood feeding herself. She holds her own head, herself, Yogini to the right, and Dakini to the left. Now, why I say this is a pretty tame version, well, first of all, I got to check for myself. She's clothed in this. So traditionally, she is depicted as naked, because for the naked truth. And also, the copulating couple has clothes on. Like, nah, that's not really the thing. So respect this Madhubani style, this respectful version of what's happening here. But everybody's supposed to be naked because this isn't representative of sex. They are having sex. And she doesn't have clothes on. She has adornments. She's wearing the skull garland. Again, this is symbolic of Vak, speech, as well as mantra practice. And she is adorned with Kundalini. She has a coiled snake around her body. So right away, we're getting some messages on her actions, right? We've got something to do with passion, desire, eros, sex, and not like symbolic sex, like sex. It has something to do with the transformative power of Kundalini Shakti, of the universal power, the femme power that lives inside of all of our human bodies, waiting to be awakened. We learned a little bit more about that with Ma Bhairavi. She has a cast of characters with her, and Yogini and Dakini represent Ida and Pingala Nadis. The left and right channels are sun and moon channels in the body. And that 3rd stream is Shushumna Nadi. So this is all about yogini business. This is the embodiment. She is the embodiment of the yogini practice, syllabus, and principles. And she is raw and real. And she's also very old. She is from the region of the Dakini seat, Kamarupa. Modern day Guwahati, Assam, is where the temples to the 10 wisdom mothers, the Dasha Mahavidyas, reside. She's older than those temples. That whole region is a mother worshipping region. This is northeast of India. The Vedic cultures did not permeate these places. And they remain to this day matriarchal, matrilineal, extremely tribal. She requires blood offering. And so animal sacrifice is traditionally a part of the offerings in the zone that I'm naming. That's called the Tripura Mandala. That's pretty intense. Having visited her temple, having witnessed these rituals, they are very intense, very raw. One of the traditional offerings for her is menstrual blood. So what's happening here? Like, what is this alchemy? What is this transformative thing? She is the rawness of fertility. She is life and birth and death and transformation. She herself is representing an extremely dynamic and transformational process in her iconography. And so this is about transmuting sexual energy to a higher octave of compassion, but not through restraint necessarily, through the full spectrum expression of pleasure, the alchemy of sex, and the potential outcome of the self-same sex. She is also embodying the heart of Advaita, or dual non-dual philosophy, in the sense of she has embodied through the nadis, chakras, and bindus. She has come up to the head and she has cut off her own head. She's cut off ignorance. She's not playing badminton matches of object and subject. Object to subject and subject to object and subject to object and back to subject. Dual, non-dual, and dual, non-dual. She's beyond that. She is so self-sufficient. She is so self-realized and self-fertilized that she can even cut off her own head and feed Yogini and Dakini. She's a progenitor of the Yogini Dakini teachings. It's so deep, it's so subtle, and it's so authentically indigenous, rooted in sex and pleasure and fertility. Yeah. Okay, this is her yantra. Let me see if I can get it into the little focus for you. Seems right about there. This is what happens when you play with settings on your phone. Okay, Chinnamasta. We see this beautiful yantra here, but it's simple. Sometimes it's just shown in all black, not even the pink lotus. So the bupur is dark green, and we know in the yantra meditations that brings one into a calmness of mind, generating faith and trust. We have the 8-petaled lotus. Sometimes this is all just in black and white, like the color version. But here we have it in a beautiful pink color, also pacifying for the mind. And then we come to the series of triangles, circles, another triangle, and the bindu. So what we have here is, remember, the 8-petaled lotus are the 5 senses, and then the 3 additional internal senses, It's basically saying mind, intellect, and ego. Now, the big downward pointing triangle symbolizes the primordial prakriti, the primordial nature, the parashakti, which inside of which are the three gunas: tamas, rajas, and sattva. Inertia, overactivity, and balance. The triangle inside the three concentric circles represents the paratpara, going beyond the parashakti. And this triangle is also downward pointing. And then the bindu all the way on the inside is Chinnamasta herself. So we are engaging in the balancing of the gunas. This is a dynamic yoga as we are mingling amongst the like a transcendence within the triguna. That is deep, y'all. This is what we're going to go into. She's our patron goddess. She and Ma Bhairavi are the patron goddess of my upcoming course, Sex, Death, and Alchemy. We're going to unpack it all to the best of our ability in 8 classes. And who knows, maybe we'll add another class in down the line and another series. But this is what we're going to go into, really uncovering the indigenous view before the Buddhisms, well before what came after that, which is a Hindu Vedic influence, well before that, when raw passion was not feared, but instead understood as the very seed of enlightenment. Sex, Death, and Alchemy, y'all. We're starting it on May 5th. I think you want to be there. It's going to be something very special. Jai Ma. It's my deep pleasure to share these teachings with you all. I'll see you tomorrow night for another video. And you can check out the essay that I'm going to post tomorrow about Ma Chinnamasta, going a little deeper into these concepts. See you soon.